It's Chuck Morris with the Deborah Morris Home Team, Keller Williams Advantage Realty. I'm joined today by Daniel Roberts of the Primary Residential Mortgage. Good morning, sir, or good afternoon.
Yes. Hey, Chuck, how you doing?
Doing much better. Most of you know we were doing these regularly on Wednesday. I did come down with COVID. I was down for several weeks, 5 weeks, we'll just say at least. Just about recovered, fully recovered. There's still some lingering every once in a while. So make sure that you do practice social distancing, doing everything you can to minimize the spread. I did everything beforehand, still have no idea how I got it, which goes to show you, you could be as careful as you can, as you think you are, and still get it.
Yep,
So,
no doubt.
you know, there's nothing we can do about it. It's the new normal.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see you're back and feeling better.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Back to my old spunky self there.
There you go.
But anyway, for those who are watching this for the first time, we're based in Seminole County and live in Castleberry. What we try to do is just share some information to you. We may not be your only source, but we love to be the resource for your sources. I know there are 1,000 realtors out there that you may choose, but how many of them are willing to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear? And they're the same with lenders. Every lender can make you a promise, but how many lenders actually deliver? How many lenders are out there are working for you instead of you always making you work for them? So I've paired with Dan, and normally we're joined by his son Greg. Deborah every once in a while will join us, and but we want to. This is for you. This information is for you. We want to share the information so that you can make an informed decision when it comes to either buying or selling your home. We share information and we try to make sure you're informed so you can make the intelligent, informed decision, because informed buyers make better buyers and sellers. And when you know the process, not only with respect to buying or selling a home, but when it comes to getting, whether it be refinancing or your mortgage, that makes the relationship with your lender and or your agent that much stronger, and you're more on the same page. I would have to say, Dan, that's probably the biggest thing, is people think they know the process, and they don't.
Yes, it's amazing. Yes, and you're right about being on the same page, because if you're on the same page, it makes everything so much more simpler as you're going through the process. So yeah, that's why we like to set expectations up in the beginning, so you know exactly what's going to happen, what's going to be required, and hopefully it'll make it be a smoother operation.
And that's right, and that's exactly what we want. We want nothing more than to have a smooth operation.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me go up here. And are you able to see the information I have up on there?
Yeah.
Excellent. So what I'm sharing with everyone is basically the Castleberry activity. In other words, the number of new listings, the number of homes that have gone under contract, and the number of closings in the city of Castleberry in the last 7 days. So as you can see, there are 3 new listings. So only 3 homes have gone onto the market. However, essentially 25 have gone off the market.
Yeah.
We can't sustain a market like this. We can't have 25 go off and only be replaced by 3. In Seminole County, there are 142 new listings in the last 7 days. However, 228 new contracts, 176 closings. So we have 142 new listings and essentially 400 off the market. It's just absolutely no way that can be sustained long term.
Right.
Now, it's good to see that the markets, that people are buying and selling. Problem is, I try to communicate to persons, now's the time to sell. You want to sell now when there aren't that many homes on the market. And then if you look at Lake, Orange, Seminole, and Volusia County in the last 7 days, taking those 4 counties alone, there's 756 new listings. However, there are 1,229 that went under contract and 931 that closed. So it's basically a 3-to-1 ratio in those 4 counties. This is what's coming onto the market, and this is what's going off. You just can't sustain that for long term. There's absolutely no way that we can continue doing that. And this is the reason that we're in the seller's market that we're in now. The next report I want to show is we call it the Monday morning quarterback. It comes from the Orlando Regional Realtors, and it basically tells you from the 19th of July to the 25th of July for Lake Orange, Osceola, and Seminole. What I want to bring to your attention is homes under 250,000 and homes at 250 to 300,000. If you look, you can see there's 1 month of inventory. 1 month of inventory. This is where most people are looking to buy homes between under 250. We'll say 200 to $300,000. This is a critical time. Now, for those who are selling, if you look, the final list price to sale price, I'll scroll so we can get a little higher here. You're getting pretty close to what you're asking. 98%, 98.4%. You're going to get pretty close to what you're asking if you list right now. We are not spending a lot of days on market.
Yeah.
You're looking at 39 average days listing to contract, 39. If the home is priced correctly and properly, I've seen the average days of listing be less than a week. And then just to bring on, this is something that I believe I shared with everyone the last time that we were together. This is called the Market Pulse. Now this comes out basically when it comes out in July, it's going to share June's numbers. This is the reason that they have the June 18, 19, and then 20. So it gives you the previous month's numbers. And what it does is it gives us what the average mortgage rate is. Then it talks about the inventory of homes, how many new listings, new contracts, under contract, sales closed, days on market. So if you look, just the past 2 years, 2 years ago, the average mortgage rate was 4.61. People thought they were getting the deal of a lifetime.
And they were.
And they were. But if you look, the new listings, 4,000 and maybe 8,000. So this is when we started seeing the shift to the seller's market, and this is what we knew. But you can see how the inventory was starting to shrink. But we're at 47 days on market. Last year, we were looking at 4,200, 4,300 new, just a little more than we'll say 9,000. So you can see it was definitely shifting as far as inventory shrinking. But look at the mortgage rate, 3.93. Everyone, oh, but that's it. This is when you need to do it. You need to do it. We don't know if it's going to maintain this historical lows. June of 20, the average mortgage rate of 3.04%. Almost a full point below what it was a year ago at this time.
Yeah.
However, if you look at the number of new listings, the new contracts and under contracts are almost mirror what they did before. Yes, there's a slight increase. There's 500 new contracts and 200 here. Look at the difference though with new listings, down by 400. This is eventually going to cause an issue where the days on market will be going down. Yeah. So if you're a seller and you're on the fence of selling, the buyers are getting historically low mortgage rates. This is the perfect, there is no better time to buy than now. And by the same token, there's no better time to sell. We have such low inventory that your home, when move-in ready, will be the talk of the town. It will be it'll be the pretty girl at the prom. You need to get your home move-in ready, and that is the caveat. Move-in ready and priced right to sell with an agent who's willing to share with you and consult you with a price range that is accurate for your home, there's no reason why it cannot sell very quickly. We make no promises that you're going to sell in this time or that time. Any agent that does is not being truthful with you, unless, of course, that agent is planning to buy the home themselves. But as you can see, my primary reason of wanting to show this was 3.04, the average mortgage rate. Now, we do know that in July, it did go up slightly to, what is it now, approximately 3. It's not like it's 4 or anything. It's
No. I mean, it went up a little bit the beginning of July, but then over the last week or so, it's going back down to back to where it was in June.
June, yeah. Like I said, and that's what you need to people need to understand, is that the lenders are watching this. This is what they do. This is what they're watching. So when they try to get you the best rate they can, understand the market's changing so fast that they may have to keep updating you or keep asking for information. This is not that they haven't done their job, is that suddenly all the conditions that you needed to meet have changed. The same thing can happen with when you're buying or selling the home. Every once in a while, things change. And we as professionals are required to bring those changes to your attention and to get whatever it is we need from you to, to transact to make the transaction work. But I mean, seeing the 3.04, I'm going, oh, could we get it down below? Could we get it to 2? That would be
well,
great, but the banks won't make money.
That's an average of what the interest rate was. So
right.
You have some people above that, and you had people in the 2s. Depends on your situation, your credit score, your debt to income ratio, the loan to value ratio. All that goes into what your interest rate is going to be. And we're regularly quoting stuff below 3 right now on refis. Just depends on your situation. Not everybody's getting that. If if your credit score is 580, you're not getting that interest rate. But if your credit score is highest credit score and your debt to income ratio is lower, and it's possible that you're getting something better than that. So the interest rates, they change on a daily, sometimes several times a day basis. That's what people don't understand, that they're not like set for a week. I mean, they go up and down with the bond market. So if when the bond market goes up, the rates go down. When the bond market goes down, the rates go up. And that's all also based on what the stock market's doing. There's a lot of variables inside of that. But interest rates on mortgages go up and down all day long. So
it's kind of like watching the seismograph. There's always going to be a little motion one way or the other.
That's it.
If it's like that, if you've ever invested in stocks, you don't watch it at that moment. You have to look long term.
Yeah, because if you do, you drive yourself crazy. So, yeah. So I'm going to just share something here real quick about renting as opposed to buying. And I know we have talked about this before, but basically, as we know, and anybody who is renting knows right now, that rents are very high. And that's because there's a shortage of housing, as we are seeing with the listings, but just in general. So right now, the average 3-bedroom, 2-bath and doesn't even have to be 1,300 square feet. A lot of these are apartments. A 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment in Oviedo is renting for $1,750 a month. So when you look at that, and you look at this screen here, basically, so if you were to buy that same house, say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,300 square foot, the purchase price is say $225. And the first column here will show you exactly if you bought that house with a FHA mortgage and you put 3.5% down, you have an interest rate of 3.5, that your payment for the whole thing, the principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and any monthly repairs that you have in there would be $1,500, $1,524 exactly. So where this, not even the same house, because the average house in Oviedo is a lot smaller than what you will be buying. That comes out to $1,774. So you can see right away in the first year, you're saving $250 a month by buying as opposed to renting. So if then we forecast out an annual rent increase of 4% a year, which is normal, and when you get to year 10, right here, the rent on that same house is going to be $2,525. We're 10 years at a 4% rent increase per year. On your payment, the taxes and the insurance may go up a little bit, but it's going to be very nominal. So you're still going to be around $1,500, $1,600 a month for your mortgage. So as you can see, by year 10, you're saving almost $1,000 a month by buying a house as opposed to renting that same house 10 years later.
Or renting actually a smaller home or.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, actually it is a smaller home. Yes, yes. Because if you try to find a 3.2, 1,300 square foot house to rent in Oviedo, it's probably $2,000, I would think.
Easy.
Maybe even more. Yeah. So so we look at this chart here, and you can see over 10 years the difference in what you will actually pay out in cash for housing if you're buying as opposed to renting. If you bought that house, you're saving $70,000 just to start with, just in your cash savings, because it's cheaper housing expense than if you're renting. And then say in 10 years, you decide that you want to sell it. So you come over here, and over 10 years, the forecasted appreciation per year is 3.76% over 10 years. So the house that you paid $225,000 for is now worth almost $325,000 for. So you also gain in there the appreciation of right around $100,000. And then you go to 10 years later, as part of your payment, you're paying off some of the principal balance each month. So at that point, if you kept that same mortgage, your mortgage payoff would be about $169,000. So compared to what the original loan amount was, you're gaining $50,000 there. So as you can see, between the three of those figures, after 10 years, I'm going to go to the next slide here. And you're going to gain about $193,000 by buying a home. It's going to be a bigger home than what you can rent. And that's over a 10-year period. I mean, between the three things that we talked about, the appreciation gain of $100,000 when you go to sell it, the cash flow difference of $70,000, and the principal that you paid off on the mortgage that you have is another $50,000. So when you add those off, all up, and you go to, say you're going to sell it, so that say the real estate cost to sell it is just under $20,000 at your city, and your initial closing cost when you bought it was $6,000. So we're going to take that off. That's about $25,000, and that's how you come up with $193,680 that you're to the good by buying a house as opposed to renting it. So we're just trying to show why it's, especially right now with interest rates where they are, that it's such a great time to buy a house right now. May take a little bit longer to find one, as you know, and Chuck can speak to that. I mean, I've had several buyers who are in that price range of 250 and below, and multiple offers, and they had to find put offers out to 5 or 6 houses before they got one accepted because there's so much competition out there. But with the interest rates and where rents are, it's a perfect time to buy a home, because then you have that $193,000 that you can invest into your retirement, and at some point then you're ready to retire. So it just,
and we're not even talking an expensive home, because the original home was what, 225?
yes,
So
yeah,
so if you're looking at 225, and of course the average price for a home in the Orlando area is actually higher. So you're actually looking at gaining probably closer to $200,000
yeah,
in 10 years, simply because you paid your own mortgage and not the landlord's.
exactly, exactly. And
In 10 years, in 10 years, when your child grows up and you come to the realization that you just saved $100,000 or $200,000 over that period by buying the home and adding stability to your family, is it not worth it?
exactly, exactly. So yeah, and like I said, it's a great time. There's some down payment assistance programs out there if you don't have a lot of money to put down that can help you with that. Or you got awesome realtors like Chuck here who can negotiate seller concessions to help pay for some of the closing costs sometimes. So there's all kinds of different ways to work it so that you may not have to bring as much as you would think you have to buy a home.
And we have, because that's one thing we always have to kind of educate today's buyer. You don't have to have 20% down.
No,
You don't have to be, it's the more you have down, the better rate you're going to get.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty good chance that if you had 20% down, you're not going to have to pay mortgage insurance.
Right,
But
exactly.
by the same token, if you can afford to get a conventional loan, even if it's putting 5%, 10% down, the mortgage insurance will disappear once you have an 80%, 80% loan to value.
Yeah, exactly.
And, and again, going back to in 10 years, what have you saved?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
The realization is that, as Dan and I both attest to, there are down payment programs out there. Primary residential, you are an approved lender for down payment programs.
Yeah.
I do have, if you have any questions, you can always contact Dan directly. I also have I've shared in several places, my down payment resource website where you can go on. You can give an address. You know what? I'm interested in this house at 123 Main Street, and it will ask you a few questions and tell you how many potential programs you may be eligible for.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And it'll say, you know what, you're eligible for this. Are you interested? And then they'll let me know, and then I will let Dan know. Hey, Dan, we got someone who's potentially maybe using down payment assistance. Because the last thing I want to do is to find somebody who wants to buy a home, and then we have to hunt for a lender, because lenders have to be qualified in order to work with the down payment assistance programs. Not every lender is. And that's what makes Dan and Greg Roberts a great team. The Roberts team, that's great, is the fact they are certified. They are licensed to do the down payment assistance. So if they have any questions, phone number, email address, how is best to reach you?
Sure. My phone number is 407-927-5309, and my email is daniel.roberts@primeres.com.
And then if you want to reach out to the Deborah Morse Home Team, our phone number is 407-687-8300. And the best email to reach out to is info@DeborahMorrisHometeam.com. Well, I thank you again, Dan, for taking time out of your busy day to meet with us, and hopefully we can get this information out to someone who really does need to hear this today.
Yeah. Thank you, Chuck. I appreciate it.